What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Hot List. I'm your host, Matt Johnson with Keller Realty, and I come to you Monday through Friday around 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. We hang out and talk real estate. We talk properties new to the market with recent price reductions or something unique about the property that I want to share with y'all and want y'all to know. I also answer a question of the day that is submitted by a listener of the podcast. To find out how you can get your question answered on air, just hang out with me till the end. Finally, I recognize and thank a sponsor of the week each and every single week. If you'd like more information on what it takes to become a sponsor of the week and be featured on the hot list, then just hang out with me for a few and I will happily get you that information. So what is going on? For those tuning in live, you can tell it is obviously not 12 o'clock. I do have some appointments and some meetings this afternoon, so I wanted to get this done and taken care of early. Why do I do this video? Well, for those that aren't familiar with the hot list, even as hot as the market is right now in some areas, properties are still worth talking about. Sometimes properties are good, sometimes they're questionable. I don't want to say bad because there's a buyer for every property. And if you're not familiar with the property or don't know what to look for, then maybe you would pass on a house that might be the home for you. So what I do is I talk about some of these properties and point out some of the features and benefits that people may not think of or may not put together. And so that's why I do this, is to help educate you and to educate everybody else. The houses that we talk about in these videos are live, are active during this video. Once they go under contract, the link that is in the description will no longer work, so you just have to be aware of that. So the links I include at the time of recording are live, and you can definitely check out these properties. So let's jump into it. The property that we're talking about today is a newly listed property, and the reason I chose this property because this is in an area that's kind of a well-known secret. So let's just keep that between us. Don't have to tell everybody, but the address is 2921 Sonora Drive right here in Emporia. This is a very short, very small street, and if you don't know where it's at, you may not even know that this street is even in Emporia. But this house is a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house. It's a ranch style house, has an attached 2-car garage. It's got 2,737 square feet of finished space, currently listed for $295,000, courtesy of Coldwell Banker Emporia Real Estate. This house is open concept, which is phenomenal. A lot of people love this, myself included, because you can see through a lot of the rooms. If you need to throw something at your kids to get their attention, you can absolutely do that without having to worry about hitting a wall. Just kidding. Don't throw things at your kids. But the other benefit that this has is it has laundry hookups, not just on the main floor, but in the basement as well. So if you have a larger family or need to do multiple loads of laundry, separate laundry, you could have one, you could have both. That's entirely up to you. Nice big kitchen for entertaining or family cooking, breakfast bar style. You do have a full finished basement in this house as well, and that's what's going to set this one apart and give you that finished square footage. Now the cool thing about this house as well, it has a screened-in porch. So especially during this time of year, right before spring turns into summer, mornings, evenings are still relatively cool right now. Sitting in a screened-in porch, I don't want to say bug-free, but you're going to have fewer bugs inside there, hopefully, than you would outside. And it's got a nice deck off of that screened-in porch, a large yard out back, and a storage shed. So if you want to see the property for yourself, all you got to do is click on the link in the description that I've included here, and that's going to take you right to my website so you can see the property for yourself. If you have questions about the property, please feel free to reach out to me. If you are a pre-approved buyer, not currently working with another agent and interested in the house, I would love to answer some questions for you and potentially schedule a showing as well. Again, at the time of recording, this house is live and active. Once it goes under contract, that link will no longer work, and you won't be able to check it out. So make sure that you do it before. Before I get to the question of the day, I do want to recognize and thank our sponsor of the week this week, and that is Flint Hills Lanes right here in Emporia. They're located at 1519 West 6th Avenue. You can call them directly for their hours, or if you just click on the link in the description that I've included, it'll take you right to their Facebook page, and you can check out their hours and what they have coming up for yourself. They do have youth leagues starting soon right now, as soon as this Saturday, June 5th. So make sure that you get in and talk to them. I know I've already signed my son up for Summer League. And they also have cyber bowling on Friday and Saturday nights from 10 p.m. to midnight. It's $10, all you can bowl. That includes shoe rentals, and they do give some prizes away from time to time. So make sure that you check out Flint Hills Lanes. Get there for cyber bowling. As somebody who has done cyber bowling, it is very cool, and it is definitely adds a degree of difficulty, and has you can have a good time doing it. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor of the week and be featured on the hot list, all you have to do is shoot me a message here on Facebook or your podcast player of choice. Just drop a comment. I would be happy to have a further conversation with you of what it takes to become a sponsor of the week, be featured on the hot list, and get some advertisement. All right, that is going to bring us to the question of the day. The question of the day is submitted by a listener of the podcast, and each and every day I do this, it is a question that is submitted. So if you have a question about real estate, you're not sure where to start, I would gladly be the real estate resource that you reach out to and think of first, because if you have a question about real estate, the chances are really high that somebody else is going to have that question as well. And what better place to start, and who better to start with than me? So, the question of the day: do I need to prep for storm season? Well, I guess the short answer is obviously yes. So, but what is it about the storm season that you need to prepare for, and what do you need to look out for? That's what we're going to go into a little more detail about, because like it or not, spring is going to turn into summer, and some places sooner rather than later. And while we are going to be focusing more on outdoor activities and enjoying the summer weather, unfortunately, that nice summer weather is going to turn into rainy, stormy, windy weather. Now, for those that live in Kansas or this area in general, we have already experienced some storms. We've had a lot of rain, a lot of wind, and you drive around town and you actually see people. You see roofing contractors here and there at different houses, because the weather's not ideal, and depending on where you live, many of us are going to face some type of summer storm that could potentially turn into severe weather. And now is the time to prepare yourself and your home for storm season, and this is going to help ensure that you're not caught off guard when bad weather hits. What we're going to talk about today are going to be 6 items to prep you and your home for storm season. So right out of the gate, number 1, clean your gutters. We've talked about this I don't know how many times, and I still get questioned a lot of, do I need to clean my gutters? Is it beneficial? Um, is it really necessary? Not just in the summer, the fall, the spring, you absolutely need to clean your gutters because you got to make sure that they're free of debris, because then there's less chance that they're going to get clogged, especially in the springtime, because this is the time of year everything is in bloom. Your gutters are nice and wet, so anything that is built up from the winter or seeds that have dropped during the summer are going to clog up your gutter, your downspout, and you're going to start seeing little trees. Like if you don't stay on top of it, you'll see those little maple trees that are growing out of your gutter. Plus, you add a little bit of dirt, maybe some dust, decaying leaves, whatever else has accumulated in there over the winter time. You got to get all of that washed out, because it's going to lead to potential blockages, and with that could cause damage to your gutter, your roof, your siding, maybe even your foundation. So just make sure that you clear them out and make sure your gutters are working properly, because these, ideally, you want to have divert water away from your home. This is going to prevent any type of potential leaks in the house or flooding during storm season. Number 2 on the list, tree trimming. If you have a house like mine, you probably got some branches that are hanging over your house, maybe your garage, and falling limbs and trees are one of the biggest causes of property damage during storms, and these can be prevented with a little bit of preventative maintenance and measures, just simply by trimming back or even removing heavy limbs or dying limbs that are hanging over the house, maybe your vehicles, or even your power lines. Any tree that looks like it's diseased, damaged, or full on dead need to be removed. This is going to prevent anything from falling during heavy winds and causing further damage to your house, your vehicle, and the electrical. Number 3, inspect the roof. Now, your roof can be pretty easy to ignore because you don't look at it every day. It's above eye level, so you don't really pay attention to it, and they are typically ignored until it starts leaking. And at that point, you've already got significant damage that has been done and can continue to be done, because you're not going to get somebody out there during a storm while the roof is leaking. I would recommend taking some time to walk around your house before storm season. Look for signs of noticeable damage or potential damage. For example, missing shingles or noticeable divots in the shingles that may be causing issues. You can always call a roofing inspector or roof crew, roofing contractor, and they can come look at it as well. May cost you a little bit of money. I actually have one coming out next week to look at our roof, just to be on the safe side, because the more potential damage that you find right now while the weather is good, it's easier to avoid any type of leaks or other damage once those storms hit. Number 4, secure everything. In Kansas, I don't have to tell y'all, winds do a lot of damage. I don't know how windy it is where you live, but here in Kansas, we have wind all the time, and some of it can be potentially high and cause some damage. So you want to double check your shutters, your downspouts, any type of wall fixtures or decorations that you have outside. Ensure that they're secured. Tighten them down, screw them down if you need to, or even secure them with straps. I have seen people's sheds, dog runs, dog houses secured with anchors and straps. That's not uncommon here. Items that are in your yard need to be either secured or picked up and removed, because anything in your yard that the wind can move needs to be secured down, strapped down, like I said, with the shed and dog runs, I've seen anchors and straps to help keep those down. Because the more secure everything is, or everything's removed, you have a less chance of damage done to those items as well as your property. Number 5 is electricity. Whether it's high winds or lightning, storms are going to be bad news bears for electrical. Look into installing a lightning rod, or they do have whole home surge protectors. These help protect your home in the event of a lightning strike or a huge power surge. You can also look at hooking up critical electronics to an uninterruptible power supply. What this does is it keeps them running a little while longer, even if the rest of your house goes black. If you can swing it, I would also recommend looking into some type of home generator, because this isn't going to be just for summer storms, but can be for winter storms too. If you happen to lose power, give you a little bit of time before everything goes black altogether. And finally, number 6, check your insurance. We all have insurance, whether it's renter's insurance or homeowner's insurance. But when was the last time you checked your policy? Do you know what's covered, what's not covered? Typically, insurance covers several common forms of storm damage. However, it may not cover flood damage. Depending on where you live, if you don't already have flood insurance, you may not need it, but just check into an additional policy just in case, if you're questioning it, or just call your insurance company and speak with them. By knowing what's covered, what's not covered, you get a better feel about any additional insurance coverage that you may need, and God forbid, worst case scenario, or just the typical CYA. So those are the 6 items to prepare you for storm season. Number 1, clean your gutters. We've talked about it multiple times. If they're free of debris, less chance that they're going to be clogged, which means there's going to be less chance for potential leaks or flooding around your house. Number 2, trim your trees. If they're diseased, damaged, dead, or hanging over your home, vehicles, power lines, make sure you trim them back, cut them down to reduce the potential damage. Number 3, inspect your roof. I know it's easy to ignore because it's not something that you think about or look at every day, but doing a little bit of preventative maintenance on the front end can help avoid leaks or other damage once the storms hit. Number 4, secure everything. Whether it's shutters, downspouts, wall fixtures, maybe there's some outdoor equipment, chairs, tables. Take them inside, secure them down, do something with them, because you're going to have less chance of them being damaged in the wind and less chance of them doing damage to your house as well. Number 5 is electricity. Again, whether it's high winds or lightning, it could lead to some type of power surge or lightning strike, so you do have the option of lightning rod or whole home surge protectors. And finally, number 6, insurance. Hopefully you have insurance, whether it's renter's insurance or homeowner's insurance. Check your policy to see what's covered, what's not covered. Depending on where you live, you may need some additional coverage or policy for flood insurance. So I'm not an expert in insurance. Call your insurance agent, talk to them, and see what they have to say. So that is going to wrap it up today in the hot list. Thank you guys so much for watching, tuning in. Don't forget to leave a review, share this out, tag somebody that needs to hear this, or you that has been asking about this. And thank you guys again. I'm your host, Matt Johnson with Keller Williams Realty. I do this because your experience matters and should be trusted with a veteran. Y'all have a phenomenal day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.